How's it, guys? We've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to speak quite quickly so it doesn't drag on too much. There are a lot of things happening in South Africa at the moment which are very hectic, and I think that a lot of people feel quite powerless and they don't know what they can do. But one thing which we can all do, which I think could really benefit society, is to maintain and manage the way we behave online, and in particular on social media. South Africa online at the moment is out of control. The things that people are saying, the way in which they're speaking to each other is horrific. And there's just so much unbridled hate and rage and fear-mongering that going online can be a really upsetting experience for a lot of people. You know, you have these keyboard warriors saying things they'll never say in real life, saying things in the heat of the moment which they probably don't mean. These comments are then seen by someone else who's already livid and infuriated. They get further angered, they make inflammatory comments which are seen by someone else who's angry, and we just have an escalation. And what we're going to begin to see, if we haven't begun to see it already, is that the way in which we behave online is going to begin to spill over into the real world. And there's a lot to suggest that the recent awful xenophobic attacks in Natal were precipitated by statements made by leaders leading up to them, which shows us, guys, that what we say, online or otherwise, have real tangible ramifications in the real world. It's something we need to be aware of, and that's something we really need to manage. Now, seeing that people are upset can be helpful because it alerts us to the fact that there's pain and there's a problem. But very often we cross the line in expressing our pain and we only further divide ourselves. For South Africa to grow and for us to build ourselves as a nation, we need to engage with each other. We need to hear where people are coming from and to know their stories. But for someone to entertain an idea which is foreign to them or a notion which is not their own, they need to be in a space where they're not feeling attacked or threatened. And right now online we're providing the opposite. And people are fighting so hectically and getting so defensive that their pre-existing views are only becoming far more deeply entrenched and more extreme. And we're having moderates from all demographics of South Africa who are being turned into radicals. And another thing I've noticed, which is awful, is that people are so scared of voicing an unpopular opinion because of the rabid and malicious bullying online that they're just shutting up. And thus we're having this diminishment of the variation of ideas about a topic. And thus we're having a very myopic space at looking at it, which is awful. We need lots of different ideas. We need lots of suggested solutions. So I don't like the term rules, but I've got some suggested guidelines for South Africans using social media. And I've broken them all in the past, so I'm not being that like self-righteous sanctimonious oath. The first, guys, unless it's blatant hate speech, we have to respect people's right to their opinions. Even if you vehemently disagree with them, you can't just go attack them. Secondly, if there's something you're emotional about, particularly if it's angry, if you're angry, take some time before you post about it, all right? Just take a week, a couple days, a chess session, go for a walk, whatever, get perspective on life. That issue isn't going anywhere, but that pause can be hugely beneficial. And if you are going to post something or comment, always think, how is this helping? What am I hoping to achieve by this? If I call someone a P or a C or a D online, am I really going to help change their mind? Am I going to make for a better country? And this, of course, leads me on to comment sections, where you see most of the sparring going on, either on websites or on Facebook. And my earnest advice is to just stay away from comment sections, okay? I promise you the future of South Africa is not going to be fought and forged on the battleground of the News 24 comment section, okay? I think it is largely just a futile exercise, and it's largely very unhelpful and sometimes unhealthy, you know? If someone's putting something out there and you want to try and change their mind, contact them directly. When you do something online, there's an audience, and there's huge potential for people to feel threatened or embarrassed or undermined, and they get their backups and they can't accept new ideas. When you speak to someone face-to-face, also, they pick up the intonations of speech and the body language that you'd normally use when you communicate via text. And if you think about it, the hierarchy of human communication, okay, face-to-face, Skype, phone call, voice note, email, text, Snapchat, pigeon carrier, medium of dance, and then far below that we have the Facebook comment. If you are going to get involved in Facebook comments, for whatever reason, it's a good space, you think that the people are all rational, then be cordial and civil. Use terms like, in my opinion, I believe, and pepper it with smiley faces. Now, this last point is hugely important, guys. Please check the sources of the things you're sharing. There's so many articles and videos and images which are completely unsubstantiated or sensationalist. They're hoaxes, or they're from years ago and completely unrelated to current events, which people are sharing, and it's just creating panic and even more emotion. It's the last thing we need. Now, guys, I know it's hard. I know there's a lot of pain, a lot of things going on. I know there's a lot of frustration. And I'm not suggesting that we ignore them, but rather that we focus them on more positive ends. We need a range of ideas which are as diverse and differing as our national makeup if we are to find solutions to the problems that plague South Africa. So let's take these emotions and focus them on making South Africa the country we know we can be.